Hello and welcome. I am Ladi Akeredoluale. Tonight, court in Lagos orders final forfeiture of money in various currencies amounting to 13 billion naira found at an apartment in Ikoyi to the federal government. Acting President Yemi Osinbajo writes National Assembly requests approval of $1.49 billion external loan for 12 states. Finance Minister and House of Representatives disagree over Nigeria's export supervision scheme for oil and gas exports. And U.S. President claims credit for Arab states' severance of ties with Qatar over alleged sponsorship of terrorism.
And on business news tonight, as Nigeria struggles to exit recession, the second largest economy on the continent, South Africa, hits recession mode in the first quarter of 2017. The second time in 8 years.
And on sports news tonight, Super Eagles of Nigeria begin preparations for Saturday's 2019 AFCON qualifiers against South Africa's Bafana Bafana.
From Abuja, more assurance on the president's health as his wife Aisha Buhari says President Muhammadu Buhari is recuperating.
We begin tonight from the nation's commercial capital, where the Federal High Court has ordered the final forfeiture of the money found at Flat 7B, 17 Osborne Road, Ikoyi, Lagos. Justice Sule Hassan ordered that the monies, $43,447,943 US, 27,800 British pounds sterling, and 23.218 million naira be permanently forfeited to the federal government of Nigeria. Our judiciary correspondent, Shola Shoyele, has a report.
On the evening of Wednesday, the 12th of April, the EFCC, acting on intelligence reports from undisclosed sources, raided Flat 7B, number 16, Osborne Road, Osborne Towers, in the Ikoyi area of Lagos Island. Armed with a search warrant, they proceeded to search the apartment and subsequently discovered huge sums of money in various currencies stashed under security locks in iron cabinets and Ghana must-go sacks. Less than 24 hours after the discovery, the anti-graft agency approached the Federal High Court, also in the Ikoyi area, to seek an order of interim forfeiture of the funds. Counsel to the EFCC, Rotimi Oyedepo, via a motion ex parte, told Justice Muslim Hassan that officials of 1AM facilities, managers of the apartment, could not provide the Commission with information on the possible owners of the money. After considering this submission, Justice Hassan granted the interim order. The judge also directed the EFCC to advertise or publish the order in any national paper for any concerned party to see it and to appear before the court on the 5th of May to show cause why the money should not be permanently forfeited to the federal government. On the 5th, no one came before the judge to claim the money. But a private legal practitioner, Mr. Olukoya Ogungbeje, approached the court with an application urging the judge to suspend the final forfeiture proceedings pending the report of a 3-man panel constituted by President Muhammadu Buhari in relation to the funds. The court subsequently adjourned till the 6th of June for a ruling on the issue. In its ruling, Justice Hassan upheld the EFCC's objections to Mr. Ogungbeje's application and dismissed it for lack of merit. The judge described the application as totally strange, and he described Mr. Ogungbeje, who was not a party in the suit filed by the EFCC, as a meddlesome interloper and a busybody. The court then advised the lawyer to explore the Freedom of Information Act for the findings of the VP's panel. With that application out of the way, Justice Hassan noted that no one had appeared to show cause why the permanent forfeiture order should not be made. He subsequently made an order for the final forfeiture of the funds to the federal government. Shola Shoyele, Channels Television News.
The ongoing trial of former Aviation Minister Fani-Kayode at the Federal High Court in Abuja was stalled due to the absence of the lead defense counsel Ahmed Raji on grounds of ill health. Prosecution counsel Johnson Ojogwane did not oppose the submission of the defense and the request for adjournment, but pointed out that the prosecution wants a quick determination of the corruption case against the former minister. The ex-minister is accused of receiving money from the Office of the National Security Advisor while he was the Director of Media and Publicity in the campaign organization of former President Goodluck Jonathan. The case has since been adjourned to July the 7th for continuation of trial. And staying in the courts, the Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja today discharged and acquitted the former chairman of the Presidential Committee on Marine Safety, Air Vice Marshal Saliu Atawodi, of corruption charges. Mr. Atawodi had been standing trial for diverting 600 million naira meant for the purchase of gunboats to fight illegal oil bunkering.
A former chairman of the Presidential Implementation Committee on Maritime Safety and Security and Mr. Rabiu Hassan, owner of Hypertech Company, were arraigned by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission on May 11, 2016 for allegedly defrauding the government to the tune of over 600 million naira through suspicious contracts to procure military boats. At the trial before an Abuja High Court in May 2016, the anti-graft agency alleged that AVM Saliu Atawodi retired while serving as the chairman of the Committee on Maritime Safety and Security. Rabiu Hassan and Hypertech Nigeria Limited, on or about the 28th day of November 2011 in Abuja, did conspire to obtain property by false pretense to the sum of 620,910,000 naira, which is the property of the federal government, under the pretense that the money represented payment for the supply of 6 pieces of K-38 armored patrol boats. In a judgment delivered on the 21st of March 2017, the court ruled that the defendants had a case to answer. Dissatisfied with the judgment of the trial court, AVM Atawodi approached the appeal court. His no-case submission has been upheld on the ground that the prosecution failed to establish any case against him, and he has subsequently been discharged and acquitted. Although the prosecution team failed to show up at the appeal court, lawyer to AVM Atawodi applauds the verdict of the court.
Well, the appellants have been declared innocent of all these charges that were made against him, and he has been discharged. And this type of discharge is amount of acquittal, so he cannot be retried for these same offences again.
Unless a further appeal is filed, the verdict of the court finally terminates the case of corruption and criminal conspiracy filed by the EFCC against the former chairman of the Presidential Implementation Committee on Maritime Safety and Security.
Acting President Yemi Osinbajo has written to the National Assembly seeking approval of $1.49 billion loan for 12 states as part of the 2016-2018 external borrowing plan. In letters read in both chambers of the National Assembly, the acting president said the approval of the loan by the National Assembly would help the states implement various projects for their citizens. The states include Kaduna, Ogun, Ebonyi, Abia, Katsina, Jigawa, Kano, Enugu, Plateau, and Ondo, while the loans will be from the Islamic Development Bank, the French Development Agency, the African Development Bank, and the World Bank Assisted Project.
1,492,400,000 only. Honorable Speaker, you may wish to know that the request for the separation of the state's projects from the list became imperative in view of the current economic realities in the country and the pressing needs of these states to provide infrastructural and social amenities for their citizens. The total loans for the states being presented for special consideration and approval is USD 1,492,400,000 as listed in paragraph 1 above. Honorable Speaker, it would be highly appreciated if you could kindly give this request an expedited consideration and approval to enable the states meet up with all other effectiveness conditions for the implementation of the projects in their respective states.
Staying in the National Assembly, the Minister of Finance, Kemi Adeosun, says no laws have been breached by the ministry in the process of engaging pre-shipment inspection agents and monitoring and evaluation agents for oil and gas exports from Nigeria. Mrs. Adeosun said this while appearing before the House of Representatives Committee on Public Procurement, which is investigating allegations of abuse, breach, and violation of the Public Procurement Act in the process of engaging the consultants. The minister disagreed with the lawmakers who told her that the Nigeria Export Supervision Scheme, under which the agents are being engaged, requires budgetary approval from the National Assembly.
It is not appropriated, sir. It is not an appropriated scheme because it's run as a self-financing scheme under the Act, and that's what the Act has provided for. Now, we are the executives, you are the legislature. If you believe that that is wrong in law, I think I'm in the right place to have it changed. And if we are directed as executive that henceforth anything in the next scheme must be appropriated, that will be a matter for the legislature with the greatest of respect. We inherited a scheme, we're operating that scheme, we check the scheme, we check the invoices before they're paid. We administer the scheme and we're very open with that scheme. And we've said that's the reason why there was no procurement plan, because it was not appropriated and never has been since the inception of the scheme. But if the legislature, with the greatest of respect, choose to direct us, that henceforth it should be, then I think that's a matter that must be considered and considered seriously.
The 2017 appropriation bill is yet to be signed into law after it was transmitted to the presidency about 20 days ago. They say grey areas of the budget are being looked into before it is signed. Meanwhile, the 2016 budget also expired last month, leaving Nigeria with no active national budget. In this report, our political correspondent, Seun Kimbaloye, identifies some of the key issues in the 2017 budgeting process.
It is the 6th month of the year 2017. That means we are way into the half of the fiscal year. Sadly, Nigeria has no running budget since the expiration of the 2016 budget last month. It is 7 months now since President Muhammadu Buhari presented the 2017 budget to the joint session of the National Assembly. It took over 4 months, and that's more than 150 days before the National Assembly could pass the document. Some interesting scenario which angered some Nigeria even played out. On the 19th of May 2017, the acting president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, received the passed version from the National Assembly. In that, the National Assembly had increased the budget from 7.28 trillion to 7.44 trillion. That is way over 140 billion naira increase in the face of an urgent but uncertain quest by the nation to sort out the deficit of over 1 trillion in the budget.
All right, thank you.
It is almost 20 days since the budget was submitted to the acting president, but it appears the fear of assenting to it is palpable. Sources in the presidency revealed that lawmakers have inserted over 400 items in the budget. Such insertions are not new. This time around, perhaps more disturbing, the manner in which we understand the budget has been doctored. That was a major factor which bedeviled the 2016 budget, where a lawmaker called out his colleagues on the mind-boggling insertions into the document, the infamous budget padding controversy.
It's wrong is when these insertions goes above limit. In the case of 2016,
it appears the sort of budget padding or insertions, as the case may be, this time around is even more atrocious from what we understand, with what has become a difficult path for the executive to tread, hence the delay in the assent to the bill. A big question is, does the National Assembly, in the process of budgeting and appropriations, have the prerogative to make such insertions or create new projects?
They don't have the right, they don't have the power. Look, it's basic knowledge in government will define 3 arms of government. They work together, but they have their separate and respective jurisdiction.
The legislature has no authority anywhere in our constitution to turn the budget upside down.
In an economy in recession and a sort of sluggish budget process laden with an unfortunate act of padding, one will wonder whether the interests of Nigerians are ever in consideration. Seun Kimbalwe reporting for Channels Television News.